So I'm not going to make you sit through an unboxing video. I already unpacked this. And this is just a quick video to say I'm excited to check out a Sterling guitar. I will do a review of it when I get my amp in here. This is one of the Sterling Axis guitars made in Indonesia. And first look and first play, I'm pretty impressed for the price. I got this thing under 200 actually. I think they go around 250 usually, 300. But I managed to pick one up as a blem, and the reason why it's a blem is someone didn't set the tremolo up properly and then tried to crank it, and there's a very slight finish imperfection right here. You got to really look for it though, so I'm not going to bother making a deal of it or anything. Caveat, not a massive fan of metal hard rock guitars, with exceptions. There are some I do like, but I've always seen this incarnation in its various guises not really as a metal guitar, and I've always respected, even though I'm not a big fan of Van Halen, I've always respected Eddie, who just left us, as a true innovator. I mean, what he did was quite remarkable, from the Frankenstrat days to working with Music Man, Ernie Ball. Then he did PV for a while. He fell out with all those companies. Eventually Fender gave him his own EVH company. So this guitar, this shape, this style has been released under different guises with slightly different body patterns and slightly different configuration. I think the early one, which I think was the Music Man, the Ernie Ball Music Man, only had a volume knob. I don't think it had a tone knob on it. Somebody let me know in the comments. I'm sure there are lots of experts out there. And I think the early ones had the maple fretboards. Then I think when he got to EVH, I think he actually did an ebony fretboard, which looks really good on the stealth models, I think they're called. And these new Sterling ones, which goes back to the Axis name because they fell out with Eddie and couldn't use his name anymore. So these Sterling ones use the Axis model name, and they have the roasted maple boards on, which I wasn't sure if I was going to like, but I actually do. Of course, it's the patented 6 tuners 4 and 2, which I think is owned. The patent is owned by Music Man / Sterling. Sterling is the CEO of Music Man, and when Eddie fell out with him and went to PV, I think he had to go to 3 to a side. I don't think he could take this configuration with him. Again, I'm just going off of what I've heard, so if you have any more information to add to that in the comments, please do. I really like the pickups on this. For stock pickups, I think they sound great. And what I really like about this guitar, I'll tell you what I like and what I don't like. And again, I will do a proper playing video of this at some point. The 5-way selector includes the coil splits, so you get a hell of a lot of tones out of this guitar, which is cool. You don't have to push the tone knob to get that. It's built into the 5-way, I think positions 2 and 4, so you get that really honky Strat / Telecaster tones with the single coil, and then the humbucker selections with the single and then the combined configurations. No pickup guards on these. Are just naked. You can see the ribbons on them. And very, very basic volume control tone with the 5-way. Doesn't have the switch up here. I think the newer ones have it up here. The Eddie Van Halen versions, the Wolfgangs, I think they're called now. They have the switch up here. The strumming pattern, I think Eddie came up with. He wanted the switch here for his thumb, and then the volume control here for the effects that he does, playing with the volume. And then I think the switch on the other one is up here. So there are some slight differences. The weakest part of this guitar, and by the way, don't leave me a ton of messages saying, why don't you play it? This is just basically, I just got this out, and I'm just showing you, instead of doing an unboxing, I just got this video. I will do a full video where I play it, promise. The weakest part of this guitar, by far, is the tremolo, which is not a Floyd Rose, which I think you get on the AX4. This is the AX3. It's okay. It functions. It's just like a Fender tremolo. You can only do slight vibrato. You can't dive bomb it or anything like that. It's kind of weak. It's the weakest part of this guitar. Probably you're better off if you want a tremolo, unless you just want, very, very basic surf guitar sort of tremolo. This is fine. It basically works like a Bigsby. It gives you about the same amount of effect. But if you want to dive bomb and do all the Eddie Van Halen stuff, this ain't gonna do it. You need a proper Floyd, which you could drop into this, I suppose, but you might as well just get the AX4 model. I'm not sure what other differences there are between the AX3 and the AX4, but for the money, these are really impressive. I mean, I paid as much for this as I have for some of these IYV / Firefly / Star Sign / Kozai, all those cheaper brands. This was right around the same amount of money. Now, granted, this is to Music Man what Squier is to Fender. It's their budget line, but it's really nicely made. The neck is still that what do they call it? The composite. It starts out with a certain gradation and moves to another one. I forget what they call that. It's got that on it, and you can feel the contour difference as you go down the neck. Really nice roasted board on this. The 4 and 2 give you good tuning stability. These aren't the greatest tuners, but you don't have any line break on the string. It goes straight through the nut because of the way it's configured. That's why they built these headstocks. Another thing that everyone says about these guitars is they feel small, and they do. There's something about the way the string length is the same as other guitars. It's a full-size guitar. It's not a junior guitar. But the way they mount the bridge further down the guitar makes it feel shorter. It's cool. It's really compact, but it's not uncomfortable to play. In fact, it's really comfortable, and it's fun to play. So this is the Sterling AX3 from Music Man, and considering this thing sells for around $300, and you can pick them up sometimes as low as $2, like I did, I think it's a great little guitar, a really nice little guitar. There's the 5-bolt that they have on all Sterling. That's another thing I don't think PV or EVH could copy. I think they have to go back to the 4, but all of the Music Mans have the 5-bolt, which is supposed to give you rigidity, tightness, sustain, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I think it's fabulous. This is a great mod platform as well. I could see guys buying this, dropping their favorite Seymour Duncans into it, upgrading the pots, putting either stopping the tremolo or putting in a better one, a Floyd or a Gotar or something, and then locking nut with some better tuners. But I think it plays great as it is. It's quite fun, and I really like this shape. I've always been a fan of this shape ever since the first Music Mans came out. You might remember I did a video sometime back of an OLP, which I think is related to the Music Man / Sterling brand, and those were floating around for a while. Very similar shape. This one has the very shallow horn on the top. Some of the other versions, like the PV, I think they changed it and made it more of a horn. But I really like this original shape. It doesn't scream metal to me. It's not a pointy guitar. And Van Halen said himself when he designed the first version of this, it's very conservative. He likes playability. He doesn't care too much about some of the other bells and whistles that you see on a lot of other quote metal style guitars. So he didn't go for all the BC Rich stuff, the Ibanez stuff. He went for a fairly conservative shape. Sort of a cross between a Les Paul, a single cut, and a double cut. It's very subtle. Yamaha used to make shapes like this back in the day, I think, as well. In fact, it reminds me, to play it, it reminds me of my Yamaha SG that I have from the 80s. It has that kind of feel to it, especially with the coil splits. But anyway, I've rambled on for 11 minutes about this without playing it. I will do a little video with this at some point. I just wanted to show you because it's exciting to finally see one. I've been hearing about these Sterling guitars being such great value, so I decided to plunk down and get one of them. And so far I think it's great fun. I think it's a great little guitar. So I was keen to show you right off the bat without making you watch me unpack it. I hate those videos. Anyway, folks, see you on the next one.